What is consciousness? And what does it mean to truly live life awake? Welcome to Clarity to Consciousness, a podcast where we transcend beyond stereotypes, embracing a deeper understanding. I'm your host, Kristen Griffiths, a fellow seeker on this path. Join me on a journey as we dive into conversations with experts, unraveling stigmas, and expanding our awareness to something profound. This is your invitation to open your mind with me as together we bring clarity to the fascinating complexities of human consciousness. Welcome to another episode of Clarity to Consciousness, where we explore the complexities of human consciousness. We live in a world where screens often stand between us and genuine human connection, and it's something that we all navigate daily. And today we're going to talk about how to foster meaningful relationships despite these barriers. We'll also explore how true connection plays a role in building resilience, something that has taken on an even greater significance for my guest in recent months. Today, I'm honored to have a conversation with somebody I've grown to know and deeply admire over the years, my dear friend, Tammy Cohen. Tammy is the author of Text Messages to My Sons, Connecting with Your Children in a Disconnected World, a heartfelt collection of wisdom, guidance, and love written for her sons. Her book beautifully captures the essence of conscious parenting and deep emotional connection, offering insights that resonate with parents and individuals alike. Beyond being an author, Tammy is also the founder of Women Beyond the Table, a global networking group that began as a vision during the pandemic. Inspired by King Arthur's Round Table, Tammy imagined a space where strong, purposeful women would not only take their rightful place at the table, but extend their influence beyond it. What started as a single call has grown into a thriving community where women leverage social capital, foster deep connections, and support each other's growth. And as a proud member, I have witnessed firsthand the incredible impact of Tammy's leadership and the power of network she created. Now facing a personal health battle of her own, Tammy's outlook on life, love, and legacy has evolved in profound ways. Tammy, thank you so much for being here and being willing to have this conversation with me.
Kristen, it's an absolute honor and pleasure to be here. Especially, what's great is being able to be a guest on somebody who you cherish and love and have, how you have a connection and
Yeah.
relationship with podcasts, and to see you thrive and create your own road and destiny and establish this podcast, which is amazing. I love it. And thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much for saying that. That means so much to me, and you have been a huge influence in my life. So I really, really appreciate this. We've come full circle, I feel like.
We sure have.
So getting into the book, Text Messages to My Sons, what led you to start writing this book? And were there any specific moments that sparked this idea?
Well, it's funny because I never set out to write a book or become an author. That just wasn't even in my game plan. It was the start of the pandemic and everything had shut down. And I feel like God shut us all down for a reason, amidst even with all the challenges and amidst the challenges, was for us to take a minute to take stock of our lives and to see where we're at and spend more time with our families and have the time to think because we're so busy, everybody's running and working and doing and doing and doing. So I was fortunate, and I sat down. I really took that time and realized I wasn't very happy. I had a lot of emotional, limiting, tough, situations that I wasn't dealing with from, the childhood, and I knew it. I knew it for many years. I wasn't in the right frame of mind, but I was so busy, I didn't really deal with it. And so the pandemic gave me that opportunity, and so I indulged. I mean, I started doing all this coursework, masterminds. I was Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza, Mind Valley. I was everywhere, Life book. I just couldn't get enough of it. And I was reading all the time. I had a life coach we both know and love, Rudy Rayskins. I had a business coach. I just was totally immersed. And it really helped me. It helped me so much to, see certain things, see certain patterns, understand things more. But what was really amazing and it also like opened me up to all of the great works that have been written from thought leaders living in the past and that I never even thought about reading or was exposed to. So I was like learning all this stuff, and I said, "Wow, I'd really love to share this with my sons." I have three sons, and I said, "Nobody taught me this growing up. Nobody said these things to me, and I know I didn't say it to them, and I know the education that I provided for them. Yeah, private school is great in Manhattan, but they don't teach this stuff. Maybe at that, especially at that time. So I was like, I'd love to share what I'm learning, and that's how it started. And I had to figure out what they were going to like respond to, or not necessarily answer to, but just look at. Because Kristen, let's face it, nobody's having in-person conversations. I love them. I grew up with
Mhm.
in-person conversations. We didn't have internet. We didn't have phones when I was growing up. We didn't have phones for a long time. I think I first came my first cell phone in my 30s. But at the end of the day, like I had to reach them where I knew they look at it. Everybody has a phone in their hand, their pocket, or their bag. So I started texting them what I was learning, and that's how it started. And what happened was it was a daily practice. It's not a one and done thing. When you're sending somebody gratitude, love, a loved one, when you're telling them how much they matter, how worthy they are, when you're telling them how grateful you are for life and for them, when you're sharing wisdom and inspiration, it's not a one and done. It's every day, right? You need consistency. So I was doing this, and then I let colleagues and friends would ask me what I do, and I was explaining what I do, and they were like, "That's incredible. You should put that in a book." So it's like I don't know how many people told me this. I was like, "Okay, I'm going to put it in a book." But listen, what is that? I don't know how to do a book. I have no idea. So I had to kind of figure that out. So I self-published text messages to my sons, connecting deeply in a world of devices. My first edition
Mm.
that came out in October 2023. October 4th, on my son's birthday, it actually published on Amazon. And it was an unbelievable feeling and moment. And to be honest with you, then October 7th happened really quickly. And that completely transformed my mindset and everything I thought. And I just realized that, oh my gosh, God did this, put me in this path for a reason. I have to share my mission. This is a mission now, to speak to parents, to speak to people about connecting more deeply with their loved ones, sending their loved ones these messages. We're in an age of complete disconnection, there's a lot of depression, especially 18 to 30 year olds. There's addiction, there's all kinds of things going on, suicide. Uh, we're facing algorithms who are on the same mobile devices that are designed to steal your focus 24/7, designed
Mhm.
to indoctrinate you, designed to create violence and hate thoughts and provide misinformation. So how do we combat that? So that led, me to having this watershed moment of, after doing interviews and thinking and refining my message and understanding my mission, to now start I'm working with publisher now to produce the expanded version of text messages to my sons, which is called Text Messages to My Sons. That's the overall arching title. This is a guide to using mobile devices to connect and communicate with your kids. And it's really just everything that the first book didn't have. This book has, because it was a
Mm.
learning curve on the first book. And now we're putting it out in a much bigger way. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is so exciting to hear. Congratulations. I
Thank
didn't
you. I'm really
know
excited.
that.
And you know what I learned from this book also is
Mhm.
that from creating this book is you need a team,
Mm.
because we don't we have our gifts, right? And
Yeah.
we all know what our gifts are. And uh, the best is to surround yourself with people, and that's one of the reasons why networks are so important. People who have the strengths that you don't have, who can connect you to the people who can help you get to the next level, and people who just do things better, especially in our tech and digital world that I'm not versed in. So now it's a whole different ball game working with a publisher and a team that actually understands all this stuff. I learned so much, and that's why I tell people, do it. Whatever you do, take the step, do it, and you'll get the chance to learn, and then you'll get the chance to do it at a completely different level next time.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Well, I have the first edition here,
Hmm.
and it doesn't look like this anymore. It's available on Amazon, and we will link all of we will link that book below. But I did just want to share everybody for everybody to see at least the first edition and what it looks like. And I am so excited that the second one is coming, or the is it the third?
No, so this the green book now, the first edition is out of print. The new edition, the expanded, is available for pre-sale, so it's on Amazon also, and they're going to be listing all the links of everywhere else it's available too.
Oh my gosh. Well, be sure to get a copy, everybody, because it is really, really moving. I would love to know, this book and your text messages, it's all about deepening connection. So, how did these text messages shape your relationship with your kids?
Wow. Okay, so you know what's really interesting is I sent these messages, and you have to remember, like everybody I speak to, I'm like, you send messages with no expectations in return.
Hmm.
You don't send a message expecting to get a response. And the minute your kids say, they don't tell you they love you and that you're the best mommy in the world, you stop messaging. So when I sent these messages to them, it was about me. For me, it was just for me to send them these messages because it was really important that they had that energy flow, right? When you send a message of love and gratitude, that love and gratitude vibrated the highest frequencies. Hate
Hmm.
and violence are very low negative frequency vibrators. So I sent that out and I felt like this tremendous burst. And when they received it and read it, they had that. They felt that. My sons wrote the foreword to my books because
Mm.
they stated what it means to them to get these messages daily. Like they know somebody loves them, cares about them enough to take the time to say, I love you. You're extraordinary. You mean this. You mean so much. Here, I want to share something with you. But, Kristen, what really was a game changer for me was accountability. Now, accountability was something that I realized a little bit later on that I was also giving in these messages. Because how do you expect your kids to be accountable in life if you don't model that? And I realized I had to set some things straight with them because all the times that I would scream and yell or say something, I wasn't a happy person. And I grew up a certain way. I grew up in that kind of experience. And also, when I was growing up, we didn't have like today where there was more of a conscious parenting with your kids, not at your kids. It was, what do you mean? You must love me. You must respect me. Do as I say. Don't answer me back. It was a very different type of parenting. And I just wanted to know that it was never them, because one of the things I was learning in all of this mind work that I was doing is that the first 1 to 7 years, you're taking it all in. I mean, your subconscious is there to keep you alive. And it's a brilliant, brilliant thing that your system has. You have to be accepted by your tribe. And your tribe could be your immediate family, your extended family, your educators, whatever they're saying to you, you're taking in, and your subconscious is saying, okay, that's how we have to act. Okay, this is who we are. So how do I stay accepted by the tribe? Because remember, ancient man, if you were thrown out by the tribe, and even today, if you're thrown out by that tribe, what are your chances of survival? So it's about survival.
Mm.
So I realized there was a lot of things that I had done, and I told my kids that it was never them, that it was me. I was triggered, not by them, but by something from my past, and I responded that way. And it was never anything they did or anything that they said. There's nothing like with a kid when you're yelling and screaming, carrying on, they think they did something bad, and it's never usually that. Okay. So I could have handled things way better. But the difference was, Kristen, when I took that accountability and I sent them those messages and I sent them how many times, how many lifetimes, I've loved them because, we've been in
Mm.
different positions in different lifetimes, right?
Hmm.
I They started to see me as a human being. They started to see me as a human, not just as their mom, you know. And that was for me a big moment for them, sharing with that they saw me as a person with faults. They saw me as a person who had my own issues growing up. They never really thought about it, and they saw me not just as their mom, but as somebody who's a human who's trying, and they accepted that. And I think it will help them a lot going forward, that here's my mom can take ownership and apologize for certain things, and we're not best friends. we're not best friends. Let me get that straight, you know. But I wanted them to see that, you know, there are things I could have done better, hoping that they'll understand that there's always things that you could do better, and that I'm taking the chance now. It's never too late, right? I'm taking the time now to straighten that out. It's never too late. So that was a big game changer. And I think at the end of the day, when I move on to the next my next stage in the universe with God or whatever, is that, you know what? They're not going to remember what I bought them when they were in high school or what I did, you know. They're
Mhm.
going to miss those messages. They're going to remember, they're going to have memories of those beautiful messages. They're going to miss those. But, you know, they'll have the books, but it's not the same as getting it every day. So I think that's what matters is like those connections aren't about money. They're not about what you buy or, you know, it's about the taking the moment to reach them where they're at consistently and to
Mhm.
let them know who they are and how amazing they are and how much they're loved. And you never stop. And I've had many readers in the book, and I've had people come to me and say to me, "Oh, my kids, they tell me they don't want me to do it." And I said, don't stop. Don't stop. I don't know a kid, I don't know a grown up, I don't care what age you are that didn't want to know their parent loved them and that their parent thought they were worthy. I've had people message me, I wish my mother said told me this. My mother said she loved me. I wish somebody told me
Mhm.
that it was going to be okay. I didn't have that. You know, like people don't have that. And it's so simple and there's so much disconnection now. 40% of kids, 35 to 40% of kids today say they feel disconnected from their families, their parents, what's going on, right? So it's really important. And that's to me, it helps a lot because depression is based on two things: lack of connection and lack of purpose. And instead of medicating people, if we gave them the connection and we gave them a purpose in life, they wouldn't need medication, which doesn't take care out the root. It's just handles symptoms until you need a bigger dose. So that's where I'm at.
Oh, wow. It that's beautiful, and I have to say, I am a lucky recipient of your messages as well. Tammy sends messages every Friday, and I get that message, and I do cherish it, and it's just and you're so consistent. I mean, it's been a few years now that I think I've been getting those from you, your Shabbat Shalom messages and
Yeah,
some
isn't that crazy? I started doing that weekly on in 2018, and the
wow.
chain has grown. It's like hundreds and hundreds of people. Thank God. So I send them the Shabbat Shalom, and I try to send really, you know, nice image picture. It's different than what I do with my kids because that's actually written like a whole
Yeah.
message, you know. But people tell me that they wait for this message every week. And if I've never missed, but once in a while, if it's a holiday, and you know I can't do it on a holiday, people are like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a holiday." They're like, "Because you didn't send it," and it's like a thing. Like if I don't send it, but I always send it. It's just amazing to me the impact it's had on people and how many people just tell me it makes a difference in their life, and it's weekly. So yeah, it does make a difference because we have more ways to connect than ever today. Think about it. You have text, WhatsApp, you have so many social media, just so many ways, email, phone, and people are just in this state of disconnection. It's crazy. Growing up, you know, you didn't have ways to connect. You had to go home. You had to go home and you sat with your parents. You had a phone that was on a cord.
Yeah.
What did you do? Like, you didn't even go home all day. You were like, you only went home to get money for the ice cream man or when your mother would scream, come in for dinner. I mean, it was a very different time, but yet you had this connection. You had this family, this purpose. Maybe because we all sat down together and we ate, or maybe because we all watched that one sitcom together. You knew you were in your home. It's just different now. People are very spread out. So I think it's really important to do it more now than ever. And remember, like I said, you're fighting algorithms that are designed to steal your focus and take you away. So whatever you're trying to focus on, you're getting a ping. You're getting an algorithm that's main point is to disrupt you and take away your
Mhm.
focus. And that really is not good for the mind because the mind needs to rest. The mind can't be constantly distracted. And the distraction level today for kids, young adults, everybody. I mean, I own a restaurant, Kristen, And I see people, and I do it too. They're sitting at the table with the other people and they're looking at their phones. They're not
Yeah.
even looking because they're getting a message, or they're too busy worrying about a post, checking how many likes they have. And you know what? It's just very bad. And then when you mix that in with, okay, I'm an algorithm and I'm here to cater to your preferences. So what's your preference? Oh yeah, everybody looks at violence, everybody looks at the craziness. So I'm going to give you more of that. I'm going to keep feeding it to you because you're going to look at that. That's your preference. So in between that, you're getting all these messages that are just lies, disinformation, and indoctrination. So what does that mean for our youth? It's just mind boggling. So I think the primary source of trust starts with the family and the parental units. And that's where you can make the difference in sharing real wisdom, sharing thought leadership, sharing the amazing wisdom that's been out there for a long, long time. And hopefully our school systems will start teaching that and start teaching about gratitude and these kind of things because they're very important. And it'll make a world of a difference.
Wouldn't that be amazing
Yeah.
to have school systems start teaching more about gratitude? That would be so incredible.
Yes.
What Whether you're a parent or not, what do you hope readers take away from this book?
That it's never too late to start. That you don't need, you only need a phone. Everybody has a phone. You don't need to spend thousands on a psychologist or a coach. Doesn't matter. You can calculate how many minutes you have in a day, how many hours you're awake and you're functioning. 16 hours, let's say. Break it down into minutes. We're talking a 5 to 10 minute text. You can do this. It's not hard. And you know what's even more amazing? Because I tell this to dads. A lot of dads have reached out to me because they want to do this with their kids. There are situations especially now with a lot of, and for a while with divorce, where it's unamicable. And the child is going between parents, or the child lives with one parent. And the other parent doesn't necessarily can't see that kid all the time. So I love my child. What do? I want to send them a message that I love you. I think about you. I can't see you, but I love you. You matter. You matter to me. Something simple. They don't even know how to start. They don't know what to write. So I'm like, all right, I have a solution for you. It's really simple. Here's the book. It's got 10 chapters. The first edition has 10 chapters, the second has 11. The second book has introductions as to the why we message gratitude and appreciation, why we message about leadership, why we message about discipline and determination, why we message about family and love, why these types of messages matter. Um, and it has reflections, but it has messages from 2021 now to 2024. The first book only has 2021 and 2022. We have all of this in this book, and take a message. Go to a chapter you like. It's all in text message format. It's the easiest book to get through. It's the easiest book to read. It's the first book written in text message format. No, there's no character development. You can go from chapter to chapter. If you want to look at accountability, if you want a message about love and family, go right to that chapter. Pull out that message, tweak it. But Kristen, I tell everybody this: take these messages, just start. You know what's going to happen? It's going to come heart centered.
Mm.
You are going to start becoming aware of everything. And that message of love is going to come straight from you. You're not going to need my messages anymore. You're not going to need to tweak anything because you're going to feel it and it's going to start coming from you. It's going to just come out. Every day I sit down and I don't always know what I'm going to write. And I just start writing and it just comes. And sometimes my sons will be like, great message. They send an emoji, love you. And a lot of times they'll say that was a really long message. Because remember, I'm old school. My messages, I start really flowing into it. But they'll read it. They still read it
Mhm.
even if it's long. So just start. Just get into the rhythm. Build that habit of every day. I have 10 minutes. I'm going to take it in the morning. I'm going to take my 10 minutes at lunch, whatever it is. I'm going to send that message to my kids or my loved ones. Not everybody has kids. Send it to your niece or nephew. Send it to your significant other. Send it to a friend who's struggling. We all know people who are struggling. Just do it. I have grandparents who are doing it with their grandchildren. They're sending it to their grandchildren. It's a beautiful thing. And then it just becomes habit, like James Clear,
Yeah.
start small, start. make a habit. 30 days before you know it, it's a habit. I'm in year 5 of doing this daily habit. And I started with my kids when they were in their 20s. Okay. I started doing this when I was 58. I'm 62 now. So it's never too late.
You look so good. You would never think that you're in your 60s,
Well,
but
I appreciate you. Thank you. But it's definitely meditation and positive
Mm,
intelligence. Shirzad Shamin's
yeah.
positive intelligence and meditation has been very helpful for me.
Oh my gosh. Um, so shifting gears a little bit, we're going to talk about something that's sensitive
Hmm.
and something that, well, it's a little bit emotional, and it is for me too. But I know that you had shared recently that you are battling a cancer diagnosis.
Yes. Hmm.
So, first, I want to acknowledge your strength and resilience, and I just want to hear how your outlook has changed now that you have this diagnosis.
It's just so interesting how it all came about. Like, because I understand why I've been on this journey, why I've been messaging my kids, why I went into all this mindset work, why I found it wouldn't be on the table. Like, God's been preparing me 100%. And it's a great thing. So what happened was, I go for a yearly mammogram and ultrasound. And December 11th, just recently, I went for one, and it was kind of like, the mammogram was showed nothing, but the ultrasound picked up a mass, something small, and biopsy. I got it on January 22nd, and it was right triple negative breast cancer, which is a very rare and aggressive type of breast cancer. And thank God, like I do this every year, right?
Mhm.
January 2nd, I got this diagnosis, and that was late in the day. And they were like, you have to call a breast cancer surgeon. And they gave me the recommendations, and I went to Mount Sinai because that's where all my doctors are. I'm also a type 1 diabetic. And I'm very up to date usually on everything. So I want to be in the same network so they can share information. And I got an appointment with the amazing breast cancer surgeon. I'll get into that a little bit later, like literally a week after my diagnosis. A couple of hours later, around midnight, okay, my youngest son, who still lives at home, unbeknownst to me, he's 24. We didn't know we were sleeping. He had a sudden onset seizure,
Mm.
um, no history of seizures. That was so intense, he dislocated and fractured both of his shoulders.
Oh.
And I found him on the floor, unable to move in the morning after he'd been laying
Mm.
there for hours, which
Oh my
was
god.
devastating. Of
Oh my
course,
god.
your my diagnosis flew out of my head.
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
EMTs came and we spent a couple of days in the hospital. Got out of the hospital, and I was like, okay, I had to see my cancer surgeon, and I hadn't even told my kids that I had a diagnosis. We're dealing
Mm.
with my son, and my older sons were just devastated, but their younger brother was in this situation. So what happened was we scheduled I got him into the really good surgeon at Hospital Special Surgery, God bless him, Dr. Joshua Dines, and a Cornell neurologist, Dr. Steve Karseski, great people. And we set up surgery, and he just had it on Wednesday. And now my surgery is next week. So it's all kind of playing out to God's plan that I was able to
Mhm.
take care of him, that my surgery is coming after his. It's very painful surgery he had. It was a very intense surgery, and Baruch Hashem, that's what we say, thank God. But for me, what's amazing is sending these messages. I've been sending messages to my kids about life and challenges, and how every challenge isn't there to hurt you. It's there to learn from you. Okay? It's there for you to learn from. It's there for you for a reason. Because life is not a straight road. Sometimes we're lucky in life. We're on that road and it's beautifully paved and it's straight and it just goes and you're just cruising along and it's beautiful. And then sometimes it's full of potholes and dings. And then sometimes you're going on an off ramp. You're like, why am I getting off this amazing road? And you come into a bridge and the bridge is shitty and it's in terrible disrepair. And you're like, should I even cross this bridge? And other bridges are great, but we're all on this road. And nothing is a failure. Nothing is anything that you did wrong. It's there to teach you. God is there. God is there with you, and you're going through this journey. And I was always sharing these types of messages. And Kristen, The day, January 22nd. I don't know if I had a vibe in my head because I had my biopsy on the 20th. I don't know what was going on, but I sent them a message about that I learned from Positive Intelligence from Shirzad Shamin. And it's treat life as your friend, as your best friend. And think about it. Your best friend always wants what's good for you. And everything that life gives you is a gift. This is the message I say. It's a gift. It's like you getting a gift box. And these are all gifts because once you accept it as a gift, you pivot, you learn, you move forward, and you go on, and you go on better than ever. If you're going to treat life and everything as hardships and challenge, and you're going to come at it from a place of fear and despair, you're going to have the life sucked out of you. It's only going to get worse. That was the message I sent my kids. So treat life as a gift box. And then literally 4 hours, 5 hours later, I had a diagnosis. My son had a seizure 7 hours
Mm.
after that, and we were in a complete different place. So it made me realize these messages are really important because not only did I build that up and like understand that myself, I after 4 years of sending these types of messages, I took it in. It was became my my role play for everything. It became my mantra. But my kids started messaging me the messages of you're going to be fine. This is a bump. This is nothing. It's we're going to learn from this. We're going to come out stronger. We're going to come out better. You're going to be better. Everything's going to be great. My kids started sending me these messages. So that's amazing, right?
Mhm. That's I love that so much.
Hmm.
I love that so much. So, what do you think the most profound lesson has been from all of this experience for you?
Well, I hate to like I don't want to sound cliche, but like staying positive. I continue with my meditations. I didn't say like, oh, this is happening. I'm gonna just nothing works, but stop. And you know what? I my breast surgeon is amazing, and she said, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do genetic testing right now, and we're gonna do an MRI. We're gonna do this and this and she scheduled my surgery. And you know what? My MRI came back clean, except for the right breast. My genetic testing came back, no gene mutations for cancer, no BRCA, none of that. So I
Wow.
was like, well, where does it come from? And they're like, you know what? We're at the stage with testing that it might not be able to pick up certain mutations still because, it's technology. Some things are very hidden. You can't see yet. There's tremendous amount of growth in in breast cancer. There's a lot of great studies and new things that they're learning all the time. I'm at a huge breast center called Mount Sinai's Dubin Tish Breast Cancer Center, which is amazing, state of the art. They just do breast cancer. So it's like if I had to give advice to anybody as I'm learning these things and reading, is you go to a big breast cancer center if you can, get to the right surgeon who only does breast cancer because they do this is their thing. And the whole team is very much part of that, and they're only focused on that. And that's what you want. You don't want necessarily somebody who's spread out into all different cancers. You can always do your treatment plan locally, but go for the breast cancer center and for your surgeon at least. And I just learned that everything is good and things come out the way they're supposed to, and you learn, and that's it. It's just life's a journey, and I believe 100% that sometimes you have to go through these things for even better things to happen.
Wow, well that's a really positive outlook, especially inspiring for what you're dealing with right now. And I really hope that the love that you had given during all of these 5 years over the past 5 years is returned to you in triple fold in the upcoming weeks and months as you deal with your surgery. I know it certainly will come from me. So I hope that everybody listening reaches out to you and sends you that love for your
Well,
healing.
I just want to add that our network wouldn't be on the table. I don't know if you're aware of how many women have had breast cancer in our network.
I'm
A
not aware.
lot.
No. Mm-mm.
And the first thing I did was reach out to a lot of the women. That support was incredible. And I was like, listen, you know, who is your surgeon? Even when I booked mine, who is your surgeon? Who did you see? Everybody was sending such positive love and the prayers. Prayer is everything for me, you know? And just the people who are like, I'm putting you in my prayers, it means everything. You don't have to do more than that except pray for people and send them positive vibes and love. But when beyond the table, the women just step right up. And so God, like I said, put me into all these spaces years ago for a reason, for this. And my kids are also benefiting from it because they know I'm resilient. They know they've had this kind of messaging going on for a long time. So they're okay and they're fine with it. And I'm getting the love and the positive benefit of everything for the last couple of years. And this is all, just how the road that I've been put on by God. That's how I look at it.
Wow. Well, this has been such a powerful conversation. I so appreciate you so much. I want to close our conversation with a few final questions I ask all my guests. The first is reflecting on our conversation today. What is one key takeaway you'd like our listeners to remember about consciousness and the work that you're doing?
Oh, okay. So consciousness. Um, to me, it's being present, and a lot of people talk about being present. Like, what exactly does that mean? So in our present, there are many realities, right? We don't even realize they're there because we're very busy thinking about the future or living in the past. But be present. Be present with your family. Take what I my takeaway is, take that time to tell people that they matter. Take that time being present to smile at somebody. Take that 5 minutes to be kind because it comes back 100%. That's what I think consciousness is just taking the 5 minutes to stop running in the rat race, to stop spinning on that hamster wheel, stop looking at your to-do list. Take 5 minutes, breathe,
Mhm.
just say, like, I'm lucky, I have food, I have a house, like, thank you, God, or I'm going to reach out to my kids right now. I'm going to send them a message. You know what? I love you. You're incredible. You're extraordinary. Walk down the street and say, instead of getting anxious because somebody's not walking fast enough, give them a smile. Smile at them. Today, for example, I was coming out of the drugstore. I was getting my son a medication, and I walked out, and this guy was bringing in this big cart. He had a big delivery, and he held the door for me, and I took it and I held it. I said, "Let me hold it for you." And he said, "No, no, no, no." I said, "No, no, let me hold it for you." And I was in a rush to get back to my son because I had his medication. I said, "Let me hold it for you." So I held it, and he looked at me and he said, "Thank you." And I go, "We're here to take care of each other." And he just looked at me and he smiled and he said, "Happy Valentine's Day. I'm giving you love." Now, what
Aw.
is that? That's how we're supposed to be talking
Yeah.
to each other. That's how we're
Mhm.
supposed to be treating each other. That's being conscious and present.
Mm.
Those moments.
Gosh, that brings tears to my eyes. It's such a nice story. Wow. Well, if somebody is just starting their journey, this is new to them. I know you and I have been studying masters for several years now, but if someone's just starting their journey towards a deeper understanding of consciousness, what advice would you offer them?
Read. There's so many amazing books out there that were written that really explain it well. There's just I can give you. I remember I read Seven Habits to Highly Effective People. I was reading Deepak Chopra's books. I was uh, uh, um, A Man's Search for Meaning.
Mhm.
Viktor Frankl, uh, Jay Shetty, right? Robin Sharma, Tony Robbins. There's just a lot of work out there. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, even. There's so much out there. I even started reading Marcus Aurelius, Tao Te Ching. There's just so much you can read there, and it doesn't cost you anything. And you learn so much. I mean, you can do mindset and you can do lots of masterminds too and coursework. But for me, that's how I started off. I started off literally just submerging myself, one thing at a time. My advice to everybody is take one step. You're not motivated before you take the step. The motivation happens after you take the first step. My whole life is broken down into step by step. That's how I approach everything. One step at a time. I don't think what it's going to be. I don't think about how is it going to work, the future, is it going to work, is it going to fit. I do one step. And then when you take that one step, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, will show you the next step, one step at a time. Once you break everything down to one step, You're golden. There's no anxiety in taking a step. None. One. That's what I tell people starting out. Pick one book, pick one course, pick one thing that looks good to you. Even if it's chair yoga, I don't care what it is, okay? Because I do that too, and I do Tai Chi Ching. Not Tai Chi Ching, I'm sorry, Tai Chi. Do one thing. Try one step. Send one message, okay? That's all you have to do.
Last question. In your opinion, what does it mean to you to live life consciously?
Wow, it means living life in the light. It's looking at things not from a place of fear or despair. It means looking at things through with hope and things in I'm not it's not so much neutral, but you're not letting those saboteurs where when you're conscious, you're saying, okay, like I know I have these things. Okay, they're saboteurs. I know I can be judgmental about people, myself, others. I don't judge myself anymore. I just say, Tammy, come on. When I get to that thought, when I'm looking at somebody and I'm thinking I'm judging them or I'm judging the situation, this is out of positive intelligence. Converting from those saboteurs that we all have talking. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You need them. Our ancestors had them because you got to stay alive, right? You need the, oh my God, it's hot. But you shouldn't be thinking it's hot 12 times after you took your hands off the flame. That should stop. You should stop saying, you took your hands off the flame. Like, move already to this part of your brain. So I think living in consciousness, I think for me, is stopping those limiting beliefs the minute it happens. When I start feeling something, I'm like, no. It's not a matter of not feeling. It's a matter of not letting things in that's just going to derail me. And it's about saying, okay, I'm going now to think about how I can deal with this in a more positive way. So, in positive intelligence, for example, when you're dealing with people who are difficult, you can be more empathetic to them. You can be more empathetic with yourself. That's a big, important thing. You can get curious. You can try to understand another person. You can try to understand yourself. You can try to understand a situation. Why didn't something work well? Well, let me like be a discoverer. Let me be an architect, an archaeologist. Let me dig and find out what happened. You can innovate. You can try to think of new ideas. You can listen to other people's ideas and say, encourage it and say yes instead of saying no. You can take 10% of what somebody else is thinking or saying and find the good in it and build on it. You can activate. You can navigate. I always talk to my future self. When I'm having a hard time, I talk to my future self, which has gotten easier. My future self is 20 years older, and she's like, do it. Even when I'm being told, I'm saying to myself, don't do this. It's money. It's this. My future self's like, are you kidding? Do it. And then there's activate, which is anticipating the negative chatter in your head, but also going forward and taking the first step. That's activate. That's really all it is. So I go through the sequence and I try to go from my left side, which is a survival saboteur side, and move everything to the right side, which is more of your sage brain, which can think. You want to be on the thinking side of things. You don't want to be on the reactive survival side. It's not good for you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Tammy. That has been a really incredible message. And your wisdom and your perspective today is so powerful. And I really think that we're going to help and inspire a lot of people to take action and form deeper connections with those that they love. So thank you so much for sharing. If people want to get in touch with you, or perhaps there's women out there who want a strong female community to join, can you tell them a little bit more about Women Beyond the Table and where to go to find out more?
Sure. So, Women Beyond the Table is a wonderful network of women business owners. It's global, and our mission, our goal, is as a community is to we're committed to accelerating professional success and personal growth. So, what does that mean? So we're kind of a hybrid. So we care about of course, developing your professional skills and professional success, but we also care about the mindset, the health and wellness of the person. So we mix that. And we have a website called www.womenbeyondthetable.com. You can message us. We also have social media on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and on Facebook. You can always message, reach out to anybody, and we'll answer you. No problem. Check out the website. It has all of the information about the group and how to join a call. We have a monthly call. We're virtual. So we have a great monthly call. We have in partners who do in-person events. Everything's up there. And for text messages to my sons, to pre-order, it is up on Amazon, Tammy J. Cohen. Right now, my website is TC Brand Consulting, but it's transitioning to Tammy J. Cohen, so that'll be up in the next 2 months. You can always reach out to me on any of my social media platforms, Tammy J. Cohen on Instagram, Tammy J. Cohen on LinkedIn, text messages to my sons on Instagram. So that's the best way to reach out.
Thank you. We'll link all that below. Thank you all to our listeners. If this conversation resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share this episode with somebody who needs to hear it. And until next time, stay connected, stay resilient, and keep seeking clarity. Much love to you all, and bye for now.